Imagine sunrise arriving tomorrow and the sun never appears. 8 minutes later, daylight simply switches off. The moon vanishes too, because nothing illuminates it. Stars suddenly fill a sky that should be morning. Every city on Earth enters the same impossible night. And this darkness will last exactly 7 days. One rule keeps our experiment survivable: gravity remains unchanged. Earth stays in orbit, only sunlight and heat disappear. That sounds temporary until you remember what sunlight actually powers. Our countdown begins the moment the final ray reaches Earth. At first, almost nobody understands what just happened. Streetlights activate while breakfast cafes stare into black windows. Drivers slow down because morning now looks like midnight. Schools close as governments demand everyone remain calm. Phones explode with videos of the missing sunrise. Every camera points upward, but there is nothing there. Solar panels drop to zero output within seconds. Power grids suddenly lose one of their largest daytime sources. Cities switch to stored batteries, gas, coal, and nuclear power. The first crisis is not cold, it is electricity. Billions of people turn on lights at once. Heating systems also begin working far harder than expected. Battery reserves drain faster than emergency planners predicted. Some regions start controlled blackouts before the first evening. Airports keep operating, but every flight feels like midnight. Pilots navigate beneath stars during what should be noon. Traffic jams form as people rush home from work. Supermarkets fill with customers buying batteries and warm food. Yet the strangest sight is happening far above them. Earth's daytime side is now completely black from space. After 12 hours, temperatures begin slipping almost everywhere. Land cools quickly because sunlight no longer replaces lost heat. Oceans cool more slowly, becoming enormous thermal batteries. Coastal cities stay warmer than inland regions at first. Deserts lose heat shockingly fast after endless darkness. Tropical nights become colder but not instantly frozen. People discover how much warmth arrives silently every morning. Animals, depending on daylight, begin behaving strangely. Birds stop receiving the signals that organize daily movement. Flowers remain closed because their internal clocks are confused. By day 1, photosynthesis has stopped across the planet. Forests are not dying yet, but their energy income is zero. Crops continue breathing while producing no new sugar. Greenhouses turn on artificial lamps wherever electricity remains available. Farmers suddenly compete with cities for precious power. Vertical farms become emergency infrastructure instead of futuristic experiments. Livestock barns require heat as nighttime never ends. Cold-sensitive animals are moved indoors wherever possible. Wildlife begins searching for routines that no longer exist. Human clocks struggle too because morning never arrives. People oversleep, wake randomly, and lose track of hours. Governments broadcast artificial sunrise schedules through television and phones. Offices use bright lamps to imitate ordinary daytime. Some cities project fake dawn colors across public buildings. Psychologists warn that darkness can distort mood and concentration. Children ask whether the sun is ever coming back. Adults give confident answers they do not completely believe. Meanwhile, another invisible system is beginning to weaken. Without solar heating, atmospheric circulation slowly starts changing. Weather does not stop, but its engine loses fuel. By day 2, solar-powered satellites face serious energy. Some switch to batteries and shut down non-essential systems. Communications survive, but engineers begin rationing orbital power. Remote weather stations fail where batteries cannot be replaced. Navigation remains possible, yet reliability becomes more precious. Energy markets enter chaos across every continent. Countries with nuclear and geothermal power suddenly gain leverage. Hydroelectric reservoirs become strategic national assets. Fuel shipments receive military protection in vulnerable regions. Electricity becomes the most important currency on Earth. By day 3, indoor agriculture glows brighter than entire neighborhoods. Supermarkets limit fresh produce as supply chains become uncertain. Frozen food remains safe only where electricity stays reliable. Restaurants simplify menus to conserve heat and refrigeration. Families gather in the warmest room of each home. Public libraries become heated emergency shelters in colder cities. Subway stations hold crowds during prolonged power cuts. Luxury towers go dark beside hospitals blazing with emergency light. Society begins revealing which systems are truly essential, and which comforts disappear the moment energy becomes scarce. Outside cities, the natural world grows increasingly disoriented. Nocturnal animals experience a night that never ends. Day-active animals wait for a sunrise that does not arrive. Ocean surface ecosystems lose their daily solar rhythm. Plankton photosynthesis drops, but the ocean does not die overnight. Large ecosystems carry stored energy from before the darkness. 1 week is devastating, but not enough to erase life. The greater danger is what humans do while frightened. Some countries cooperate by sharing electricity and fuel. Others close borders around critical energy infrastructure. By day 4, rumors become almost as dangerous as cold. False predictions spread faster than official scientific updates. Some claim the sun has died forever. Others insist daylight will return within minutes. Markets react to every rumor before facts can catch up. Religious gatherings fill streets in several parts of the world. Scientists become the most watched people on television. Every explanation ends with the same terrifying uncertainty. Nobody has ever tested civilization under a missing sun. So every decision is now a planetary experiment. By day 5, inland cold becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. Pipes freeze in vulnerable regions without reliable heating. Emergency crews prioritize hospitals' water systems and communication centers. Factories shut down so cities can preserve electricity. Advertising screens go dark while emergency signs stay illuminated. Entire skylines dimmer to save power. People begin traveling toward warmer coastal regions. Temporary shelters appear inside stadiums and underground stations. Yet above every shelter, the stars remain spectacular. The darkest week in history creates the clearest skies many remember. By day 6, humanity has adapted faster than expected. Artificial day-night schedules restore some sense of normal life. Neighborhoods share generators, food, blankets, and charging stations. Children draw yellow suns they have not seen all week. People gather outside for the final scheduled night. Nobody knows whether the promise of 7 days is real. At sunrise time, nothing happens. 1 hour passes, then another. For the first time, global panic feels close. Then a thin golden line appears on the horizon. Imagine disappearing from your bedroom and appearing in Tokyo. No airport, no traffic, and no journey in between. One thought moves your body anywhere on Earth. It sounds like perfect freedom until everyone can do it. Our experiment gives every human a biological teleportation organ. It can move one person and anything they are touching. The destination must be clearly visualized or precisely mapped. Each jump consumes energy equal to a short swim. At first, daily life becomes unbelievably convenient. Commutes disappear before the next sunrise. Workers step from kitchens directly into offices. Students attend schools on another continent every morning. Emergency doctors appear beside patients within seconds. Firefighters reach burning buildings before engines arrive. Rescue teams enter isolated mountains without helicopters. Food and medicine reach disasters almost instantly. Then transportation industries begin collapsing. Airlines lose passengers faster than they can react. Highways empty while airports become silent terminals. Trains survive only for scenery, cargo, and nostalgia. Entire cities built around travel must reinvent themselves. Hotels near airports suddenly have no purpose. Gasoline demand falls across the planet. Oil economies face enormous financial shock. Teleportation saves time but destroys familiar livelihoods. Living near work becomes completely unnecessary. People move to mountains, islands, and quiet villages. Expensive city centers lose their greatest advantage. Remote communities gain access to every global opportunity. A child in a village can visit the best museum. Yet beautiful places become crowded almost instantly. Every beach can receive millions of visitors before noon. Private islands stop feeling private. National parks require teleportation reservation systems. Tourism becomes easier and more destructive at once. Borders face an even greater crisis. A passport checkpoint means little if people bypass it. Countries create protected zones that reject unauthorized arrivals. Smugglers search for unmapped gaps in national defenses. Refugees can cross continents with one successful jump. Governments struggle between security and human freedom. Homes become vulnerable in completely new ways. Private locations must be hidden from public maps. Windows, photos, and social media reveal dangerous details. Families install teleportation barriers around their property. Visitors arrive only inside controlled reception zones. Apartment buildings add shared teleportation lobbies. Privacy depends on controlling who can visualize your space. One careless image could become an open doorway. Crime evolves within the first week. Thieves teleport into stores after studying interior photographs. Police can no longer rely on roads or escape routes. Investigators track biological energy left behind by jump. Banks build rooms that scramble destination visualization. Cash becomes less useful than traceable digital money. Kidnapping becomes easier if attackers can touch a victim. Every crowd becomes a security challenge. Prisons require the strongest teleportation suppression systems. A single failure could release everyone simultaneously. Courts debate whether forced teleportation counts as assault. Medicine gains extraordinary possibilities. Organs move from donors to hospitals within seconds. Blood and vaccines reach remote clinics instantly. Patients visit specialists without exhausting travel. But infection can also cross the planet instantly. One contagious traveler can visit 10 countries in minutes. Quarantine depends on blocking teleportation itself. Governments create emergency no-jump zones during outbreaks. Public health becomes faster and more fragile. A bakery can deliver warm bread across an ocean. Factories receive parts without warehouses or shipping containers. Stores keep almost no inventory on location. Customers teleport directly to producers. But giant platforms control trusted destination coordinates. A wrong coordinate can redirect customers to competitors. Digital maps become more valuable than physical land. Companies fight to own safe arrival networks. Teleportation does not eliminate inequality. Poor communities depend on crowded public arrival stations. Some regions block arrivals to preserve property values. Others charge fees for every incoming jump. Freedom of movement becomes a subscription service. Long-distance romance almost disappears. Friends can visit without warning at any moment. Excuses based on travel become impossible. People need stronger boundaries, not shorter distances. Others share one private coordinate as a symbol of trust. Surprise visits become romantic or terrifying. Social etiquette develops around permission before arrival. Children learn never to teleport while angry or afraid. Schools teach visualization control before independent jumping. Young users wear devices that restrict possible destinations. Parents monitor every jump through protected records. Adolescents search for ways around those restrictions. War changes more than any other human activity. Supply lines become nearly meaningless. Military bases hide their interiors from every camera. Soldiers carry devices that distort enemy visualization. Battles become fights over coordinates and information. Nuclear weapons become harder to secure and easier to move. Governments may ban long-range teleportation during crises. One mistaken jump could trigger an international conflict. Space exploration suddenly moves closer. Humans still need a known destination to teleport safely. Once coordinates exist, astronauts can jump there instantly. but they still need suits, oxygen, and protection. Teleportation defeats distance, not hostile environment. Future cities could spread across several planets. Yet every new world inherits our borders and inequality. Humans carry civilization wherever they arrive. Eventually, children find old travel stories unbelievable. You sat inside a metal tube for 12 hours? You waited in traffic just to cross one city? To us, instant arrival may feel strange. Journeys give anticipation, transition, and time to reflect. Arriving everywhere instantly could make places feel disposable. When distance costs nothing, commitment may cost more. Teleportation removes the road, but not the consequences. So where would you go first? And what place would you never reveal? Imagine turning 25, then never aging another single day again. No wrinkles, gray hair, weak muscles, or fading eyesight ever. Your body could remain young through entire centuries of history. You might meet descendants born 10 generations into the future. It sounds like immortality, but something important remains dangerously incomplete. You could still be injured, infected, poisoned, or suddenly killed. Only biological aging would stop while every other risk continued. Everyone would stop physically aging at approximately 25 years old. Children would still grow, but adults would never physically decline. At first, humanity would celebrate its greatest victory against time. Many age-related diseases might disappear or become far less common. Grandparents could run, climb, dance, and travel beside grandchildren freely. People could recover from effort like permanently healthy young adults. Retirement would no longer arrive because bodies became physically exhausted. Scientists could spend 2 centuries studying one unanswered question deeply. Artists could master dozens of styles within one endless lifetime. Doctors could accumulate several centuries of practical medical experience gradually. Every skilled professional might become almost unbelievably capable over time. Human knowledge could advance faster than anything previously imagined before. Then one problem appears: nobody leaves the population naturally anymore. Today, new generations arrive while older generations gradually disappear naturally. Without aging, that demographic balance would collapse almost immediately worldwide. Each year adds millions of adults who may live indefinitely. Population could double, then continue doubling across future centuries repeatedly. Cities would expand upward, underground, and across every available coastline. Housing could become one of humanity's greatest permanent conflicts ever. Families might share homes with 6 living generations together simultaneously. Ancestors centuries old could still control every family property decision. Inheritance might vanish because owners never die naturally anymore either. Wealth could remain trapped inside the same hands for centuries. The richest people might become almost impossible to replace economically. Compound interest would transform patience into extraordinary long-term financial power. 300 years of investing could buy entire industries outright. Economic inequality might become permanent instead of temporary or reversible. Young adults would enter workplaces where nobody ever retires voluntarily. Promotions would slow because senior employees never leave their positions. One manager could hold the same office for 1 century. Entire generations might remain trapped in temporary work for decades. Governments could force job rotation to create openings for newcomers. Careers might become 20-year chapters instead of lifelong identities forever. Education would also change when life becomes nearly endless overall. Nobody would need choosing one profession at only 18 anymore. You could study medicine, architecture, music, and astronomy sequentially forever. Universities might offer degree programs lasting 30 full years each. Knowledge could deepen while institutions become painfully slow and rigid. Professors might defend the same theories for several centuries stubbornly. Old ideas could become harder to remove than old people. Progress often happens because younger generations challenge established older ones. Without generational replacement, culture itself could freeze for many centuries. Or centuries of experience might make civilization incredibly wise instead. Politics would become even more complicated under endlessly living citizens. A popular leader could remain influential for 300 years. Dictators might become almost impossible for citizens to outlive peacefully. Democracies could impose strict limits on lifetime political power everywhere. Voting age might seem strangely arbitrary after living 2 centuries. Should a 300-year-old receive greater political influence than younger others? Experience and equality would collide constantly inside every democratic system. Laws might classify citizens by lived centuries, not appearance anymore. Identity documents would display ages that seem visually impossible today. Your youthful face would reveal almost nothing about personal history. Relationships would face challenges no previous marriage has ever known. Forever could literally mean 500 years beside one partner. Some couples might renew marriage agreements every 20 years together. Others might build several families across different historical centuries instead. Breakups could involve 200 years of shared emotional memories. Accidental loss would feel even more devastating after centuries together. You might expect centuries together but receive only 30 years. Grief could become immortality's sharpest reminder that death still exists. Friend groups would constantly change through accidents, choices, and distance. Loneliness might become a major illness of nearly endless life. Memory itself would eventually become a serious biological problem too. Could your mind clearly store 500 years of experiences? Childhood might eventually feel like it belonged to someone else. Names, faces, and emotions could slowly blur together over centuries. People might archive memories outside their own biological brains permanently. Personal history could require searchable artificial intelligence for daily recall. You might replay your first love after 400 years. But would that ancient memory still truly feel like yours? Identity might split into several versions across different historical eras. Your younger self could eventually seem like a complete stranger. Criminal justice would require completely new rules for endless lifetimes. A life sentence could literally continue forever without natural aging. Even 100 years might feel temporary to ageless prisoners. Society might replace punishment with rehabilitation and controlled memory treatment. Or governments could use endless imprisonment as ultimate social control. That possibility would make personal freedom more valuable than ever. Risk-taking would change when centuries of life still remain available. Some people might become extremely cautious about every possible danger. Others could become reckless after surviving safely for several centuries. Boredom might eventually become as dangerous as physical disease itself. After trying everything, what experiences could still feel genuinely new? Entertainment industries might pursue increasingly extreme experiences for constant stimulation. People could erase selected memories just to enjoy life again. Forgetting might become an expensive luxury service for wealthy immortals. Others might voluntarily sleep inside machines for several decades instead. Entire communities could pause until the future becomes interesting again. Space exploration would suddenly become far more realistic for humans. Travelers could spend centuries crossing enormous interstellar distances quite safely. The same crew could leave Earth and reach another system. Generation ships would no longer require replacement crews during travel. Humans could personally build projects lasting thousands of continuous years. Forests, cities, and spacecraft could become deeply personal lifetime projects. We might finally think beyond elections and quarterly financial profits. Climate protection could feel personally urgent to every living citizen. You would personally experience consequences created by today's collective choices. Long life might force humanity to become more responsible overall. Or it might concentrate power beyond anything previously witnessed historically. The outcome depends on who controls land, energy, and resources. Governments might limit births to prevent catastrophic population collapse worldwide. Parenthood could require waiting lists lasting several entire decades first. Having children might become society's rarest protected privilege ever available. Ending aging could greatly reduce the beginning of new life. Future children might grow surrounded by thousands of ancient adults. Youth would no longer mean actually being historically young anymore. Age would mean experience, memory, power, and accumulated personal choices. We would defeat aging but not death, loss, or regret. Endless time would not automatically create endless meaningful purpose either. So the real question is not whether centuries sound attractive. It is what could make those centuries truly worth living. Would you stop aging if everyone else stopped aging too? Imagine freezing the entire world with one thought. Rain hangs motionless, cars stop, and every voice disappears. You alone keep moving inside a perfectly silent moment. One frozen minute could become an hour of freedom. It sounds divine until everyone receives the same power. Our experiment gives each human a personal temporal field. It can freeze the outside world for one subjective hour. Anything you touch can temporarily enter your moving bubble. Other people remain frozen unless you deliberately awaken them. And every second you use still ages your own body. At first, the power feels like unlimited spare time. You pause mornings and sleep for another quiet hour. Parents pause chaos just to breathe and recover. Surgeons gain extra time during dangerous medical procedures. Firefighters inspect collapsing buildings before anything moves again. Drivers stop time before unavoidable crashes become fatal. Then people discover the first hidden cost: exhaustion. Your muscles keep working while the frozen world rests. One paused hour still consumes 1 hour of energy. Use the power repeatedly and you age faster than friends. A 20-year-old could become 30 before the next birthday. Extra time is not created, it is borrowed from your life. Some people use only seconds for emergencies. Others spend years inside moments nobody else remembers. Families begin comparing calendar age with experienced age. Workplaces quickly turn frozen time into a productivity tool. Employers offer bonuses for working during temporal pauses. One worker completes 8 hours before the office clock moves. At first, employees enjoy shorter, visible workdays. Then unpaid frozen work becomes quietly expected. Workers hide temporal fatigue behind youthful-looking faces. Unions demand limits on invisible labor. New law defines how much private time employers can claim. Wealthy people purchase recovery chambers and medical monitoring. Poor workers spend their lifespan earning ordinary wages. Time inequality becomes more powerful than money inequality. The rich buy decades of experience before competitors know it. Students from wealthy families receive thousands of hidden study hours. Everyone appears the same age, but experience separates them. Talent becomes difficult to distinguish from purchased time. Success begins to depend on how much life you can spend. Crime changes the moment streets can be frozen. A thief pauses time and walks through a crowded store. Cameras record nothing because their electronics are frozen. Locked doors remain solid unless pulled into the temporal field. Criminals learn to awaken tools, keys, and selected objects. Victims cannot react unless deliberately brought into moving time. Police create sensors that detect temporal disturbances. Banks build vaults that resist entering personal time bubbles. Security guards rotate inside overlapping active fields. Privacy also becomes almost impossible to protect. Someone can freeze a conversation and inspect the room. They can read an open message before anyone blinks. Partners may search through belongings during paused moments. Trust becomes harder when no one can prove what happened. Homes install temporal seals around private spaces. Couples negotiate rules for using time around each other. Some promise never to pause during arguments. Others use frozen silence to calm down before responding. Friendships benefit when people gain time to choose kinder words. But rehearsed reactions make sincerity harder to recognize. A perfect answer may hide an hour of private calculation. Spontaneity becomes rare in important conversation. Medicine experiences another enormous transformation. Doctors freeze time to examine injuries before they worsen. Ambulance teams stabilize patients between 2 heartbeats. Organs can be moved carefully during extended frozen procedures. But cells inside the moving bubble continue aging normally. Long operations exhaust doctors and damage living tissue. Medical teams rotate through synchronized time fields. Health insurance limits how many frozen hours it will cover. Life-saving time becomes another expensive medical risk. War becomes faster while appearing motionless. Soldiers activate fields before bullets travel a centimeter. Commanders analyze battlefields during frozen explosions. Opposing temporal bubbles collide and synchronize unexpectedly. 2 awakened armies may fight while the world remains still. Civilians outside the bubbles never witness the hidden battle. Governments race to develop larger shared time fields. Entire military bases train between ordinary cities. A nation could prepare for years before answering one threat. Deterrence depends on who controls the deepest pause. Politics becomes vulnerable to invisible manipulation. Leaders freeze debates to consult hidden advisors. Negotiators rehearse hundreds of responses before speaking. Voters cannot know which moments were genuinely spontaneous. Campaigns promise strict limits on temporal enhancement. Public officials must disclose their experience age. Schools redesign learning around controlled pauses. Teachers give students equal blocks of frozen study time. Examinations occur inside monitored synchronized field. Sports ban personal time stopping during competition. Referees wear detectors that reveal temporal cheating. Yet training in frozen time remains nearly impossible to regulate. Athletes gain years of practice before a single season. Records collapse under invisible preparation. The human body becomes the final unavoidable limit. Every paused hour moves you closer to old age. Some people reach a century of experience in young bodies. Others refuse the power and age only with public time. Society divides between temporal users and natural lifers. One group values mastery, speed, and endless preparation. The other protects surprise, patience, and shared moments. Children must decide how much future to spend today. Parents lock temporal abilities until emotional maturity. Black markets sell illegal methods for extending the limit. Some users disappear into frozen decades and return transformed. They remember entire private lives that nobody else experienced. Love becomes difficult across radically different personal timelines. One partner may age emotionally while the other barely changes. Grief can last years inside a single public afternoon. Stopping time does not stop loneliness. It only creates more room for whatever you carry inside. The greatest temptation is not escaping danger or finishing work. It is correcting every awkward word before anyone hears it. But a life without mistakes may become a life without honesty. Shared time matters because nobody can truly own it. Every unpaused second is a moment everyone experiences together. So would you freeze the world for more life? Or protect the only time that belongs to everyone? Tomorrow morning, imagine waking up and never feeling hungry again. No breakfast, no lunch, and no desperate midnight refrigerator raid. Your body creates perfect energy without swallowing a single calorie. You would save years once spent shopping, cooking, and chewing. It sounds like freedom until civilization loses its oldest ritual. This thought experiment requires one truly impossible biological upgrade. Your cells automatically manufacture energy, vitamins, protein, and essential minerals. You still breathe, drink water, and age completely normally. But starvation becomes biologically impossible for every single human alive. The first shocking change would arrive inside your own schedule. Most people spend hundreds of hours every year managing food. Now every daily meal becomes optional instead of necessary. Morning begins instantly, without coffee lines or accidentally burnt toast. Lunch breaks could become long walks, naps, lessons, or conversations. Parents regain peaceful evenings once consumed by cooking and cleaning. Students stop choosing between textbooks and increasingly unaffordable dinners. Travelers cross vast deserts without carrying heavy food supplies. Explorers could survive months in places that once killed us. Human endurance would suddenly feel almost supernatural to everyone. Then the second shock hits. Food is humanity's largest system. Billions of jobs exist because humans need food every day. Farms, supermarkets, restaurants, factories, and delivery apps would shrink. Entire careers could disappear completely within a single generation. The freedom from hunger might initially trigger widespread mass unemployment. Governments would face the largest economic transition in history. Farmers would need new crops, new markets, or new lives. Restaurants might survive as theaters for taste and social experience. A meal becomes pure entertainment, like a concert or movie. Cheap food disappears first because nobody needs basic calories. Eating could become a luxury hobby instead of daily routine. Cities would transform completely when grocery stores lose their purpose. Kitchens might become optional rooms, like home libraries today. Refrigerators, ovens, and dishwashers would become expensive household nostalgia. Apartment designers could reclaim truly enormous amounts of indoor space. Streets lose food trucks, cafes, markets, and familiar smells. Airports would stop selling sandwiches, priced like small investments. Schools no longer build cafeterias or schedule lunch periods. Hospitals eliminate meal carts, dietary plans, and feeding tubes. Prisons could no longer use food as comfort or control. Even our clocks change because meals organize entire days. For thousands of years, families have gathered together around food. Birthdays, weddings, funerals, and holidays all carry special dishes. Remove necessity, and those traditions may weaken surprisingly fast. Children might never learn their grandparents' treasured secret recipe. No soup when sick, cake when celebrating, or bread shared. Language itself would lose thousands of familiar edible metaphors. There is no comfort food when food is purely optional. We might finally discover how much emotion we quietly swallow. Family time needs new rituals strong enough to replace dinner. Perhaps everyone gathers nightly to create, talk, or simply pause. But taste would not disappear just because hunger does. Humans would still crave sweetness, spice, crunch, and warmth. Pleasure eating could become far more common, not less. Without fullness signals, endless indulgence might become dangerously normal. Our upgraded bodies must safely process food nobody needs. Otherwise, eating only for fun could still cause disease. Scientists might invent flavor strips with no physical meal. One strip could simulate pizza, mango, or grandmother's stew. Virtual dining might become the next global entertainment industry. People could collect flavors like songs or video games. Chefs become experienced designers rather than providers of survival. Famous meals could be downloaded instantly, anywhere on Earth. A street vendor's recipe might reach billion customers. But corporations would fight to own your favorite sensations. Monthly taste subscriptions could replace grocery bills entirely worldwide. Miss a payment, and your childhood dessert becomes unavailable. Hunger disappears, yet another dependency quietly takes its place. Now consider power. Controlling food has shaped human history. Empires taxed grain, armies seized farms, rulers survived famines. Without hunger, one ancient human weapon becomes useless overnight. Sieges fail because trapped populations never run out of calories. Refugees could cross borders without food convoys or ration lines. Drought would still destroy ecosystems, but not starve humans. Humanitarian aid would focus on water, shelter, medicine, and safety. The end of starvation would be humanity's greatest victory. Yet food-producing nations could suddenly lose enormous political influence. Trade routes built around crops and livestock would collapse. New conflicts might shift toward water, energy, and technology. Human greed survives easily even when hunger does not. The environmental effects could become astonishingly positive across Earth. Agriculture currently occupies vast amounts of land and water. Much of that land could return to forests and grasslands. Wildlife corridors might finally reconnect habitats across entire continents. Fertilizer runoff, overfishing, and global food waste could collapse. Farm animals would no longer be bred by the billions. Some species might become pets, protected heritage, or disappear. Cultural attachment could preserve small farms as living museums. Others might argue keeping animals for taste is unnecessary cruelty. The planet could heal faster than any policy achieved before. But newly freed land creates another temptation: building everywhere. Without protection, farms may become highways, towers, and mines. Ending agriculture alone does not guarantee nature actually wins. Population could also grow because feeding children costs less. Cities might support far more people in smaller spaces. But housing, water, and energy would face new pressure. We solve one limit and immediately collide with others. Medicine would change almost as dramatically as global economics. Malnutrition, vitamin deficiency, and many eating disorders would transform. Doctors stop prescribing diets merely for basic biological survival. Yet eating disorders are not only about physical hunger. Control, identity, trauma, and body image would still matter. Some people might avoid food completely to feel pure. Others could chase addictive artificial flavors every waking minute. Addiction would migrate from calories toward pure sensation itself. Therapists might treat people deeply afraid of ordinary eating. Children born foodless would find our lives completely bizarre. You cooked 3 times every day just to remain alive? You stored dead plants and animals inside cold boxes? You became angry simply because your lunch arrived late? To them, hunger might sound like a daily medical emergency. To us, their foodless world might feel strangely empty. Because food is fuel, but it is also memory. It carries geography, family, history. Imagine hearing the thought your best friend never said. Not a whisper, the sentence appears directly inside your mind. Every nearby person suddenly becomes an open radio. Lies collapse, secrets evaporate, and silence loses its meaning. It sounds like perfect honesty, until privacy disappears forever. Our experiment gives every human a new neural receiver. It hears conscious thoughts within roughly 10 meters. Memories, dreams, and unconscious impulses remain safely hidden. Distance weakens the signal, while crowds make it overwhelming. The ability cannot be switched off without technology. At first, conversation becomes unbelievably fast. Questions receive answers before mouths even begin moving. Language barriers weaken because meaning arrives before translation. Travelers understand intentions without knowing the local words. Doctors detect fears patients are too ashamed to mention. Parents recognize danger before children can explain anything. Friends sense loneliness behind an ordinary smile. Compassion grows when suffering becomes impossible to hide. Then someone hears a thought never meant for them. A passing judgment, a jealous flash, a private irritation. Most thoughts are not beliefs, they are mental weather. But listeners may treat every cloud like a confession. One careless thought could destroy a lifelong friendship. Apologies begin before the thinker understands the offense. People fear their own minds more than strangers. Public spaces become storms of overlapping inner voices. Buses, elevators, and stadiums feel mentally deafening. Noise-canceling helmets become ordinary daily clothing. Quiet neighborhoods become more valuable than city centers. Personal distance becomes the new form of privacy. Homes are redesigned with thick neural shielding. Bedrooms become silent rooms for thoughts, not sleep. Couples schedule honesty sessions and protected private hours. Some relationships become deeper than anything possible today. Others collapse during the first unfiltered argument. Attraction becomes harder to fake and control. First dates reveal boredom within 30 seconds. Marriage proposals fail before the ring even appears. Yet manipulation becomes far more difficult. A charming liar can no longer hide contempt. Children grow up hearing every impatient adult thought. Parents may love them while briefly thinking something cruel. Children struggle to separate thoughts from true intentions. Schools teach that thinking is not the same as choosing. Emotional discipline becomes civilization's most important skill. Workplaces transform almost immediately. Interviews reveal confidence, panic, dishonesty, and resentment. Employers demand unshielded minds during important negotiations. Workers fight for legal mental privacy. A protected thought becomes a constitutional right. Meetings become shorter because disagreement appears instantly. But creativity suffers when unfinished ideas are exposed. People need privacy to think badly before thinking well. A rough idea gets mocked before it matures. Companies build shielded rooms for dangerous brainstorming. Corporate spies simply stand near valuable employees. Security teams guard distance instead of locked documents. Secret formulas leak without cameras or stolen files. Wealthy companies purchase powerful neural barriers. Poor workers sell access to their own thoughts. Advertising becomes terrifyingly precise. Stores detect desire before customers touch products. Prices rise when sellers sense desperation. Political campaigns measure fear directly inside crowds. Speeches matter less than a leader's private reaction. Diplomats hear hesitation during peace negotiations. Wars might be prevented by exposing hidden plans, or triggered by thoughts mistaken for official decisions. Governments create thought-free zones for national security. Entering them requires surrendering every neural device. Courts face an impossible question. Are thoughts evidence? Imagining a crime is not committing one. Yet juries distrust anyone with a violent image. Police detect panic without understanding its cause. Innocent people appear guilty simply because they are afraid. Lawyers demand shields between witnesses and juries. Prisons monitor intentions before violent actions begin. Prediction prevents harm while destroying personal freedom. Society debates where danger begins, thought or choice. That argument defines the entire new civilization. Education changes from memorization to mental transparency. Teachers instantly notice confusion behind silent faces. Students share visual ideas without drawing them. Group learning becomes faster and more collaborative. But examinations become almost impossible to protect. One prepared student accidentally broadcasts every answer. Schools use isolated rooms and neural blocking walls. Cheating evolves into thought-smuggling technology. Bullies weaponize embarrassing thoughts from other children. Kindness lessons become as necessary as mathematics. Mental health faces the deepest transformation. Intrusive thoughts no longer remain private symptoms. Millions learn that unwanted thoughts are extremely common. That knowledge reduces shame and isolation. But constant exposure also increases anxiety. People monitor every thought and lose spontaneity. Meditation becomes practical mental self-defense. Therapists teach focus, filtering, and emotional boundaries. New disorders emerge from hearing too many minds. Hospitals create silent wards for cognitive recovery. Criminals search for ways to generate mental decoys. People train fake thoughts to hide real intentions. The brain learns camouflage just like the body. Skilled thinkers become unreadable through controlled mental noise. A new inequality separates disciplined and exposed mind. Eventually, telepathic children find our world completely strange. You trusted words without hearing the thought behind them? You signed contracts while everyone could secretly lie? To them, privacy seems suspicious rather than comforting. To us, their openness feels like permanent surveillance. Because honesty and exposure are not the same thing. Trust matters precisely because certainty is impossible. Love chosen freely means more than love mechanically verified. A private mind gives people room to change. Bad thoughts can disappear without becoming harmful actions. Remove that space and every impulse becomes public history. Telepathy might end lies but not misunderstanding. It reveals more truth than humans can emotionally handle. So what thought would you protect from everyone? And would you still press the button? Imagine sinking beneath waves and calmly breathing underwater today. No panic, choking, or desperate swimming towards surface air. Your lungs switch automatically, extracting oxygen directly from water. Every lake, river, and ocean becomes another breathable world. It sounds liberating until humanity moves beneath the waves. Our experiment gives humans one extraordinary new internal organ. It extracts dissolved oxygen whenever your face enters water. Return to air and ordinary breathing resumes immediately again. But pressure, cold currents, and pollution can still kill. Breathing underwater never makes anyone an invincible ocean superhero. The first transformation would feel emotional before technological changes. Humanity's ancient fear of drowning would gradually disappear entirely. Children might learn underwater movement before ordinary swimming lessons. Pools become playgrounds without constant breath limits or panic. People sit beneath waterfalls simply to relax underwater peacefully. Couples hold conversations along quiet lake bottoms using gestures. Divers explore bright reefs without tanks, hoses, or bubbles. Shipwrecks become accessible attractions for ordinary curious tourists everywhere. Coastal life suddenly feels almost twice as physically large. Then reality arrives. Humans remain terrible, awkward swimmers underwater. Breathing solves oxygen, not speed, strength, or navigation problems. A gentle current could carry you kilometers from shore. Storm waves trap people beneath debris for many hours. Rivers drag conscious victims far downstream without drowning them. Drowning disappears, but water accidents remain extremely dangerous anyway. Rescue teams search for conscious survivors trapped underwater longer. Missing person searches continue for days across deep lake floors. Emergency beacons become standard features inside waterproof clothing everywhere. Children wear automatic flotation devices near dangerous flowing rivers. Water becomes safer yet attracts far more reckless behavior. Homes near water would transform almost immediately around coastlines. Basements might open directly into lakes, rivers, or canals. Underwater trends replace private pools in wealthy coastal homes. Apartment towers add submerged floors with panoramic ocean windows. Furniture must function across both dry and flooded spaces. Electronics become sealed, flexible, waterproof, and pressure-resistant by design. Clothing includes weights, fins, lights, and thermal insulation layers. Wet hair and soaked fabric become everyday design problems. Some coastal cultures abandon traditional dry clothing almost entirely. Fashion divides permanently between landwear and specialized waterwear styles. Transportation undergoes an even greater underwater revolution almost immediately. People commute by swimming through protected underwater canal lanes. Cities build moving walkways beneath rivers, harbors, and canals. Short journeys ignore bridges by crossing directly beneath rivers. Harbors gain busy pedestrian districts across illuminated seafloor zones. Submarines become public buses with open underwater boarding stations. Waterproof navigation guides commuters through dark, murky water safely. Traffic rules expand vertically into three-dimensional movement systems underwater. Collisions can strike from above, below, or sideways suddenly. Underwater traffic police become completely ordinary across crowded cities. The ocean becomes history's largest and fastest construction site. Shallow coastal zones fill with homes, hotels, and factories. Underwater cities need no breathable air inside every room. Walls control dangerous currents instead of containing oxygen safely. Doors become simple openings rather than sealed pressure chambers. Weaker gravity transforms architecture, furniture, and movement entirely underwater. Towers extend upward, downward, sideways, and diagonally through water. Entire neighborhoods hang beneath enormous floating ocean platforms overhead. Darkness becomes more expensive than building on bright land. Every deeper meter demands more light, warmth, and protection. Pressure creates one absolute boundary against limitless underwater expansion. Ordinary bodies safely explore only relatively shallow ocean depths. Deeper cities require reinforced suits and pressure-controlled habitats everywhere. The abyss remains as hostile as distant outer space. Breathing water reveals how little ocean welcomes fragile humans. Work rapidly spreads beneath the surface across many industries. Marine biologists observe wilding continuously for entire day. Repair crews maintain seafloor cables with bulky oxygen tank. Archaeologists study submerged ruins directly without surfacing repeatedly afterward. Farmers grow enormous seaweed fields across illuminated seabeds worldwide. Mining companies target valuable resources beneath shallow seas aggressively. Construction corporations sell entire underwater districts to wealthy buyers. Insurance classifies ocean currents like storms, floods, or earthquakes. Wealthy people own quiet private sections of protected ocean. Poor families live within polluted or dangerously turbulent waters. New inequality separates clean water from contaminated water completely. Pollution becomes personally impossible for underwater citizens to ignore. Oil spills contaminate neighborhoods instead of distant wildlife alone. Plastic waste blocks streets, doors, and emergency escape routes. Sewage failures force entire underwater cities to evacuate immediately. Clean water becomes equally important as clean, breathable air. Governments regulate underwater pollution around residential districts and schools. Environmental crimes become direct attacks against human breathing itself. Protecting oceans finally becomes politically unavoidable for every nation. Marine animals suddenly face billions of unfamiliar human neighbors. Constant human traffic damages fragile reefs and breeding ground. Quiet breeding areas become crowded commercial tourist destinations quickly. Nocturnal marine life loses darkness beneath permanent city lighting. Sharks and predators learn predictable human movement patterns quickly. Humans need strict wildlife rules beneath every inhabited wave. Fishing becomes more personal, visible, and morally controversial underwater. Catching animals feels different while standing inside their world. Some underwater communities reject seafood for ethical reasons entirely. Others hunt marine animals more efficiently than ever before. Ocean ecosystems collapse beneath direct, constant human access pressures. Protected underwater parks require strict borders and enforcement system. Crime also migrates beneath the surface alongside ordinary life. Smugglers cross guarded coastlines underwater without using boats anymore. Thieves enter homes through open submerged doors and tunnels. Police require sonar, drones, nets, and aquatic patrol. National borders extend across seafloors, trenches, and underwater valleys. Military bases hide beneath ordinary, peaceful-looking coastal waters secretly. Wars gain enormous new battlefields across oceans and seafloors. Breathing underwater makes oceans less peaceful, not more peaceful. Human psychology changes after generations living beneath the surface. Some underwater-born people feel uncomfortable walking on dry land. Surface air feels dry, loud, bright, and strangely empty. Underwater silence becomes humanity's favorite form of peaceful escape. Others still fear deep water despite breathing there perfectly. Fear of drowning becomes fear of disappearing without landmarks. The ocean offers oxygen but neither direction nor belonging. Humans still build lights, walls, maps, and protected homes. We carry civilization into the sea exactly as before. That includes ambition, equality, exploitation, and conflict beneath waves. Breathing water never makes humanity truly part of nature. It merely gives us more nature to transform permanently. We discover another world without ever leaving planet Earth. But discovery and ownership remain fundamentally different human concepts. The real question is what humanity chooses leaving untouched. Would you breathe underwater if everyone else followed too? Tonight, imagine touching fire and feeling absolutely nothing whatsoever. No sting, ache, instinct forces withdrawal away. A broken bone could feel exactly like one handshake. At first, that sounds like humanity's greatest possible upgrade. But pain is not the enemy you imagine it. It is your body's emergency broadcast and protection system. This experiment requires one very specific nervous system mutation only. Your body still suffers injury, infection, burns, and exhaustion. Only conscious awareness of physical pain completely disappears afterward. Emotional sadness, grief remain fully intact inside. The first painless week would feel almost completely superhuman. Headaches vanish, muscles stop aching, and cuts become irrelevant. Dentist appointments suddenly become strangely calm and completely peaceful. Needles, stitches, and procedures lose their former terrifying power. Athletes train through sensations that normally force stopping immediately. Harsh workers tolerate heat and impacts much longer afterward. Chronic pain patients reclaim entire sections of everyday life. Millions celebrate a future without relentless daily physical suffering. Then hidden injuries begin appearing without any warning sensation. You step onto glass, yet continue walking normally forward. You grab a burning pan and never release it. You sleep on damaged shoulders until injuries become worse. You continue running even after one ligament tears completely. Without pain, tiny warnings become enormous medical emergencies quickly. Pain does not create damage, it reveals hidden damage. Remove the alarm, and the silent fire keeps spreading. Daily routines require constant visual inspections across your body. Mornings may include scanning every joint and internal organ. Smart clothing monitors heat, pressure, cuts, and dangerous swelling. Your phone warns that your ankle is secretly injured. Children would face the greatest danger within this world. Pain normally teaches children what ordinary objects can do. Without it, every safety lesson requires intellectual explanation first. A toddler might bite their tongue without ever noticing. Children fracture fingers while continuing their normal games happily. Playgrounds need padded walls, sensors, and constant supervision everywhere. Parents inspect children like aircraft before every single flight. Bedtime includes checking teeth, feet, joints, and hidden bruises. Freedom shrinks because ordinary danger becomes completely invisible everywhere. A painless childhood may become an intensely overprotected childhood. Homes transform into constantly monitored personal safety systems everywhere. Stoves shut down when skin remains near dangerous heat. Floors detect unusual footsteps caused by unnoticed hidden fracture. Furniture measures pressure before vulnerable skin tissue becomes damaged. Bathrooms scan before water grows dangerously hot nearby. The safest homes resemble gentle hospitals disguised as homes. Poor families cannot afford advanced protective technologies and sensors. Painlessness becomes deadlier for people without sufficient financial resources. The mutation creates freedom, but never equal freedom everywhere. It may create an entirely new biological inequality system. Medicine experiences a total revolution in diagnosis and prevention. Doctors can no longer ask where anything physically hurts. Symptoms must be measured carefully, not verbally described anymore. Routine body scans could replace ordinary medical checkups entirely. Blood tests might happen weekly or even every day. Internal injuries become especially dangerous without conscious warning signals. Appendicitis progresses silently without one familiar warning ache appearing. Infections spread widely before anyone notices any discomfort whatsoever. Doctors depend on algorithms watching every biological signal continuously. Privacy becomes the price required for staying alive safely. Insurance companies demand continuous access to private bodily information. Employers require proof that workers remain physically safe daily. Hidden injuries become grounds for immediate forced medical leave. Health data follows you across public and private space. Your body may never feel completely private again anywhere. Sports become faster, stranger, and far more physically dangerous. Players continue after impacts that once immediately stopped games. Referees need medical dashboards instead of traditional whistles entirely. Training limits depend upon data, not uncomfortable physical sensation. Records explode as humans ignore every internal warning sensation. Careers end before athletes realize accumulated injuries already exist. Extreme sports become disturbingly popular across painless societies worldwide. Pain once made dangerous risk feel emotionally immediate inside. Without it, danger begins feeling distant and abstract instead. Some chase injuries deliberately for attention, status, and fame. Painlessness creates a culture built around reckless physical proof. Workplaces exploit the same fearless behavior for greater production. Miners, soldiers, and firefighters face the greatest pressure afterward. Saying "I cannot continue" loses visible physical evidence entirely. People suffer damage long before anyone allows stopping safely. War becomes more efficient, mechanical, and deeply horrifying overall. Soldiers continue fighting through injuries that once forced retreat. Commanders treat bodies like machines with replaceable moving parts. Torture based upon physical pain loses much of power. Control shifts toward fear, isolation, and severe emotional suffering. Removing physical pain never removes humanity's capacity for cruelty. Criminals also become harder to restrain using physical injury. Police require safer non-injury methods for controlling dangerous people. Prisons continuously monitor bodies to prevent unnoticed silent harm. Self-destruction occurs without any physical deterrent or warning barrier. Society needs stronger emotional education than ever before possible. People learn respecting damage they cannot consciously feel themselves. Empathy becomes harder between humans who never experience pain. Today, shared pain helps recognize another person's hidden suffering. Without reference, injuries may seem unreal, exaggerated, or dishonest. Medical proof gradually replaces basic trust between human beings. Yet emotional pain remains painfully familiar throughout human life. Rejection hurts deeply even when broken bones do not. Grief still crushes someone who feels no physical ache. The mind becomes humanity's final undeniable source of suffering. Some envy ancestors who lived with useful physical warnings. They ask why evolution removed such valuable protective signals. Pain might become a purchasable artificial sensation for safety. Doctors use brief synthetic pain to reveal hidden danger. Athletes activate pain selectively only during intense training sessions. Children wear temporary devices teaching safe pain responses early. Humanity reinvents the very sensation it deliberately eliminated before, not as punishment but as essential biological information instead. The best upgrade may mean selective pain, not zero. Enough to protect, never enough to dominate daily life. Because courage means acting despite pain, not lacking pain. Endurance matters because bodies sometimes demand that we stop. Compassion grows when we understand another person's physical experience. A world without pain may lose part of courage. It removes suffering, but also removes essential protective boundaries. We gain comfort while inheriting constant uncertainty about damage. Every quiet body may hide growing medical emergency. The real question is not whether pain feels terrible. It is how much danger you accept escaping it. Would you press the button and trust technology completely? Tonight, while you sleep, the world steals 8 hours. But what if you could take every second back? No fatigue, no beds, no need to close your eyes. You would gain roughly 30 extra years of consciousness. That sounds like a superpower, until the entire planet changes. Because sleep is not simply empty time we lose. It repairs bodies, organizes memories, and resets emotional circuits. So our thought experiment requires one enormous biological upgrade. Imagine every nighttime job now happens while we remain awake. The moment that becomes possible, midnight stops meaning bedtime. At first, your new life feels almost impossibly generous. You finish work, eat dinner, and still have another day. Learn Mandarin, master guitar, build a business, watch everything. A lifetime suddenly contains nearly 50% more waking experience. Students could practice twice as long without sacrificing their health. Scientists could continue experiments through every silent midnight hour. Artists might create entire careers before today's breakfast time. And parents would never lose evenings to pure exhaustion. Humanity's productive capacity could explode almost overnight. But here is the first twist. Time would become cheaper. If everyone gains 8 hours, employers know you gained them too. The 8-hour workday might quietly become 10, then 12. After-hours emails would disappear because nothing is truly after hours. Your superpower could become society's newest minimum requirement. The rich could buy education, entertainment, and optimized night schedules. The poor might simply receive a longer shift. Suddenly, sleep sounds less like a weakness than protection. Today, darkness creates a natural border around human ambition. Remove it, and ambition can spread across all 24 hours. Cities would be the first places to mutate. Rush hour would remain, but traffic could split into several waves. Offices might run 3 complete shifts without ever closing. Restaurants could serve breakfast at midnight and dinner at sunrise. Stadiums, schools, courts, and banks would operate continuously. A quiet neighborhood at 3 a.m. might feel prehistoric. Homes themselves would change because bedrooms become wasted real estate. Mattresses, pillows, alarms, and pajamas become historical curiosities. Hotels sell temporary rooms for privacy, not sleep. Couples must negotiate schedules instead of sharing a bedtime ritual. And children never hear, "It's late, go to bed." That sounds wonderful to children, but terrifying to parents. Schools need longer supervision or entirely new childhood routines. Without bedtime, families lose their most reliable daily reset button. There is no sleep on it after an argument. No gentle morning that makes yesterday feel farther away. We would need invented pauses to replace nature's forced interruption. Perhaps everyone receives a legally protected 8-hour offline period. Notice the irony. We might reinvent sleep without unconsciousness. Now consider memory, the hidden reason sleep matters so much. During sleep, the brain strengthens some connections and weakens others. It extracts patterns, stabilizes skills, and files emotional experiences. Our upgraded brain must perform that editing in real time. But real-time editing creates a strange question: what gets erased? A sleeping brain can review the day after inputs finally stop. A sleepless brain receives new information without a natural ending. Life becomes one unbroken stream with no chapters between days. Calendars still change, but psychologically, when does tomorrow begin? Midnight is only a number if nobody closes their eyes. Humans might schedule artificial mental resets, 4 hours of low input. Meditation could become as essential as sleep is today. Dreams would also disappear, taking an ancient mystery with them. No flying, no nightmare chases, no conversations with lost relatives. Art, religion, and invention have all borrowed from dreams. Would waking imagination compensate, or become slightly less wild? Some people would pay fortunes to experience artificial dreaming. Dream tourism might become the strangest industry on Earth. Meanwhile, energy use would surge in a permanently active civilization. Lights, transit, factories, kitchens, and screens run without pause. Today, nighttime lowers demand because billions temporarily do nothing. Remove sleep, and that enormous energy valley fills completely. Electricity production might rise by a third or much more. Carbon emissions could climb unless clean power expands even faster. Wildlife would face humans who never retreat from the night. Owls, bats, insects, and turtles depend on genuine darkness. Permanent activity could erase their last quiet half of Earth. Governments might enforce darkness zones like protected national parks. Night could become a scarce resource people travel to experience. Imagine paying for silence, darkness, and absolutely nothing happening. Yet one industry would experience an immediate revolution: medicine. Surgeons could train longer, researchers could analyze results continuously. Emergency rooms would have fully alert staff at every hour. Patients would recover without losing conscious days to sleep. But pain would feel longer without sleep's temporary escape. Grief would also become harder to interrupt. 8 unconscious hours currently shorten every difficult 24. Without it, emotional suffering occupies every available minute. Therapists may prescribe sensory rest, silence, or simulated dreams. Rest would survive even after sleep became biologically unnecessary. Crime and safety would shift in equally surprising directions. More witnesses and open businesses could make streets safer. But criminals also gain 8 more hours to plan and operate. Police stations, courts, and prisons would never truly power down. Wars could become continuous, with no exhausted armies forced to pause. The same upgrade that saves time could intensify human conflict. Even travel would change more than you might expect. Jet lag largely disappears if sleep cycles no longer exist. A flight at 3 a.m. feels no worse than noon. Airports become true non-stop cities rather than overnight waiting rooms. Humanity spreads activity evenly across every longitude and hour, but global coordination may become even more demanding. If someone is always available, everyone expects instant answers. The phrase "I was asleep" no longer protects your silence. Privacy would require deliberate boundaries, laws, and social courage. Our greatest challenge would not be filling the extra time. It would be defending that time from everyone else. And eventually, people born sleepless would find us completely bizarre. "You became unconscious every night on purpose," they would ask. "You lay motionless for 1/3 of your entire existence?" To them, beds might look like soft, rectangular time machines. To us, their endless awareness might look exhausting anyway. Because needing sleep and needing rest are not identical. A machine can run forever and still lack a purpose. Extra hours do not automatically create a better life. They only create more space for our choices to matter. We might cure fatigue, yet struggle to stop working. We might conquer night, yet accidentally destroy darkness. We might gain 30 years, then give them to notifications. So here is the real question, not whether you want the power. What would you protect your extra 8 hours for? Choose carefully, and tell us before the sleepless world begins.